Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We have a lot of news to get into. It's an exciting show for all of you, but first, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, and hit that thumbs up. And now, I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
What's up, everybody? It's Jackie Ray. You can follow me at JRay the Fanatic.
And it's your girl, Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
All right, so before we dive into the need to know news, I do want to fill you guys in on this little update about the NBA's balls. I feel like we've had a lot of ball talk on the Fumble Live. We talked about balls yesterday. We're talking about balls again today, but apparently the NBA's partnership with Spalding is coming to an end after the 2020-2021 season, and they are moving to Wilson basketballs. So they're planning on using the same leather and keeping the same specifications from the current model. So that's just a little update for all of you. Wilson is a partner with the NCAA. They provide their official game balls for the college tournaments. So just switching it over. New balls for the NBA. So that's my update for all of you guys. Does anyone have any thoughts on the new NBA basketballs?
Yeah, just one-stop shop. Just all Wilson balls all around. You know what I'm talking about? That's how I took it as. Easy money, whatever.
I'm like, Wilson is tennis. Let Wilson stay with tennis. I don't know.
Yeah. I know, it is kind of surprising, but
we can remake Castaway now with the basketball.
Yes. Use James Harden.
Chris, you were doing the impression just before this.
Wilson.
I don't know if that's the right face, but that's the right voice. I don't know if that's the right face.
That's the voice comes with the face. I can't do it any other way.
Well, on that note, let's jump into our first need to know news story, all about the ESPN list. I'm sure you guys have been seeing this on Twitter. So NBA fans have a bone to pick with ESPN and their list of the top 74 players of all time. They ranked Kobe as number 9, which a lot of people were very, very upset about. I feel like in most top 5 conversations, Kobe's usually included in there. So I guess 9 seemed pretty low to a lot of people. The top 10 that they listed were MJ, LeBron, Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Kobe, and Shaq. So there were a lot of reactions on Twitter. I'm going to show you what some people were saying. One person said, "I want whoever ranked Kobe Bryant 9th to be arrested immediately." Another person said, "Whoever ranked Kobe Bryant 9th is certainly a heartless somebody." Someone said, "Imagine having Duncan above Kobe Bryant, even though Kobe has a winning record against the Spurs in the playoffs and had a longer prime than Duncan did." And then even other athletes were calling out ESPN. Jamal Crawford said, "Can't really honor any list. Kobe isn't top 5. Julius Randle agreed. And then Nick Young, who played alongside Kobe from 2013 to 2017, said he hated the ranking and he didn't understand it. So Jackie, I'm going to you first on this one. Do you feel that ESPN did get something right about their top 10 ranking, or what's the one thing that you would like to address about this list?
I mean, I can't honestly say that ESPN has put out a list that I've agreed with in a long time. So I'm just really not surprised that this list is off. And I totally agree. I don't even know how you put Kobe outside of top 3, you know what I mean? Top 4 at best, you know what I mean? So for him to drop to 9, it's almost like somebody was making this list and somebody was standing next to him like, "Hey, what are you doing? Have you forgotten about Kobe?" And they went, "Oh yeah," and then just wrote him in. I've always said that I think whoever's making these lists for ESPN are like 13-year-old interns. So I don't really have much to say about this list outside of that, except for get some older interns maybe.
Well, I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that ESPN has like a 10-year-long vendetta against Kobe Bryant because they consistently rank him lower than people feel he should be ranked. Chris, what did you think about ESPN's ranking of Kobe, and why do you think they would do that?
I would co-sign that conspiracy. I don't think that that's the reason, but I would definitely put that conspiracy to be part of the reason because it's very true. We've always had some kind of beef with Kobe, but to me, yeah, it's just weird. If we're just going down accolades alone, set aside who Kobe Bryant was as the player, it's just weird that he's that far down. What I do like about the list is that you did put guys that should be in the top 10 that nobody talks about anymore, like the Bill Russells, the Wilts, the Kareems. Like, I get that, but at the same time, even in the same breath as those legends, to me, Kobe, like Jackie said, is still definitely in the top 5 alone. And again, I'm sorry, I have to do it. No hate, and I love LeBron too. But the fact that we got LeBron sitting so pretty at that number 2.
You tripping?
And Kobe out there with a full hand of rings.
No,
alone. We just don't talk about that full hand of rings.
I'm not even gonna let you finish this. No, you tripping?
Come back to both of us, Jackie. Tell us your thoughts. What do you want to say?
No, I mean, the 2 spot. I get that. Chris feels some type of way about that, but like you said, there's other people in there. The Wilt Chamberlain, I thought Wilt could probably go a little higher personally if we're just talking about those rings.
Yes.
But when you talk about overall player, I think that LeBron is in the right spot. You guys, because you can't just. I know all the Kobe fans want to talk about rings, but overall, player-wise, when you're looking at a totality of a list, there's got to be more that goes into it than just that. So you tripping. Number 2 is solid. That's where he's supposed to be.
Can I make a point really quick? She just announced that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron because she said LeBron is in the right spot at number 2.
No, the only reason.
Yes.
I am not announcing this. What I'm co-signing on is I'm co-signing on the masses. I'm co-signing on the masses and that I will never beat the masses. I've always said that I think LeBron James is overall better than Michael Jordan, but nobody's going to do that on the list. I did not say that. Them words did not come out of my damn mouth. Do not tell these people I said that.
Of all time.
I didn't say nothing about it. Look. All y'all out there look into my YouTube eyes. I did not say that Michael Jordan was better. I said I could co-sign on this list having it this way. That's what I said. Damn it.
What she said. What she say, y'all?
Now look, if we're gonna do a Jackie Ray list, we can do a Jackie Ray list, and then we can change things up. I'm talking about specifically this ESPN list.
You kind of screwed us a little bit there, but it's okay. Don't worry. I'm going with Jackie's list. You guys know whatever list Jackie says, that's my list too. Let's move on into our second need to know news story. So it's all about the pay cut that the NBA is going to be administering or putting in place starting tomorrow. So NBA teams will withhold more than $30 million from player paychecks tomorrow as players receive their first salary reduction since the league and the union agreed to a plan to temporarily cut pay by 25%. We've already told you all about that, but how it's going to be affecting the top 5 earners is kind of interesting. So they're actually not going to be seeing a pay decrease. They received most of their money for the season up front, and their salary reductions will actually come out of their advances for the 2020-2021 season on October 1st or November 15th. So each player will basically have an IOU in each paycheck, and Steph is going to be owing $420,000, and LeBron will have to owe $390,000 for each time that there is a scheduled pay reduction, and the amount will increase if games are canceled. So this is kind of crazy to think that they're going to be owing that much money. Britt, I want to ask you, do you feel that the athletes who earn the most should take a bigger pay cut, and then with the guys who are earning less or who are on the bottom taking a smaller pay cut, or is it better to just keep it even across the board?
Interesting question. The NBA just makes so much money in general, but I do see the other guys making they make literally millions and millions of dollars, maybe taking a larger pay cut, but they also provide more to the team. Like I said yesterday, the guys that are making the least amount of money don't play. So how are you going to tell a guy that doesn't play that we're just going to take a smaller percent? It's still a percentage of whatever you make. So it's still going to be less amount of money because you make less money, but you also don't play when there is a season. So I don't think that you should take from the guys that are actually being productive on the court, it's still the same. It's a percentage, you know, so it's a percentage of what you make. So those guys that make a lot of money are going to be losing more money in general because they make more money. And obviously, I think it's clear that, of course, these guys have to pay back money because they got their salaries up front. Like, it's not right to say that they get to keep their money just because their agent worked it out to where they get it up front. Because I know we had a conversation about a month ago when all this stuff was coming out about like guys like LeBron and stuff getting their checks at the beginning of the year. And we're like, oh, well, that's a great idea because now the guys that are getting it late or get it like every month or whatever, they have to pay this money because there's not a season or whatever. And it's all working out as it should. So I think that's a great idea to have it work out and those guys pay back money because everybody else who has regular contracts has to literally pay that money. So why shouldn't they? They're missing games just the same, but I don't think it should be different in percentage because the guys that play literally play a lot more minutes, you know, like they're really good players and they've earned that. So, and again, it's a percentage of what they make. So they're making more. So they're actually taking more out of their paychecks. So makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And we've seen a lot of like corporate companies. The reason why I asked this is because a lot of the executives in corporate companies are taking maybe a 50% pay cut with people at the bottom taking less or none. So I was thinking, should it apply like that to NBA athletes? But you're absolutely right. The players who are earning the most are doing the most for their teams. So it doesn't seem fair that they should have to take, you know, a 45% cut or 30%. What were you going to say?
And just one more thing with like what you're saying, like with regular companies, you're talking about people that are making under $100,000 or $30,000 a year and comparing it to people making millions of dollars. So in this situation, there's no NBA player technically making like under $1 million pretty much. So I'm sorry, but like you can take, you know, 25% of that and you should still be okay, you know? So I think it's like it's totally different with the NBA just because everybody is literally making what these CEO executives are making technically. So, I mean, totally different.
Yeah. No, you're right. It was just a question, something I was thinking of trying to spark conversation here. Jackie, would you rather have the money taken out of your paycheck or would you want to owe money back like LeBron and Steph?
I'd rather owe money back because, you know, just from a business standpoint, I want my money up front because you don't know what I have going on. We know LeBron is building businesses. He's building a production company. We don't know if he's got real estate. You know, you need that money up front so that money can start making money for you. And then when you have to pay back whatever, then but it's already making back. You're probably getting an additional income from whatever money you've invested anyway. So paying this back isn't a big deal. So yeah, definitely give me my money up front so it can start working for me. And then I can pay you back a little chump change later.
I'm good for the money. I'm LeBron James. I'm good for the money.
Yeah. I owe you. It'll work.
Okay, you guys, let's move in to my third need to know news story. So rumors started swirling today that Deontay Wilder is either being offered or demanding $10 million in order to step aside from his contracted third fight with Tyson Fury, and he wants instead for Tyson Fury to take on Anthony Joshua. So Tyson and Deontay and Fury were supposed to fight again on July 18th. It's now been postponed to the end of the year. According to some reports, Deontay is willing to accept the $10 million to step aside if he's guaranteed the chance to fight with whoever wins in the Fury versus Joshua matchup. Fury thought that Fury, though, would rather beat Deontay for the second time rather than pay him out. So according to The Athletic, many insiders say that there isn't a reason to even think about stepping aside right now due to the pandemic that we're in. Chris, how much do you believe this report? Do you really feel like Deontay's demanding $10 million to step aside if he gets to fight whoever the winner is? Like, do you think there's that $10 million even floating around right now, or is this all just a rumor?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the NBA out here taking their money away from their players and stuff like that. And now there's this 10 million phantom paycheck floating around to stop somebody from fighting. I don't know. This sounds a very WWE to me rather than UFC. So rather than boxing. So I don't know. I don't know whether to believe that or not, especially at such a high bill, $10 million. I know boxing got the money. I get that. But to me, that is a weird statement. Now, I want to see the Wilder versus Joshua fight, or not Wilder, excuse me. Oh my goodness.
Fury.
What's his name?
Fury.
Oh boy. Yeah, Fury versus Joshua fight. I want to see that too, but I don't know if I'm throwing money at Wilder to keep them away from fighting. Like, I don't know if that's the case. I do. So to me, something seems off about that report. It's weird. It's a weird one.
Yeah. It does seem weird. My question for you, Britt, I feel like Deontay has more at stake here because, you know, he kind of hurt his pride when everybody ridiculed him when he said his costume was too heavy. So do you feel like he really should get back in there and fight just to redeem himself, even if he can get $10 million?
Well, I just don't even like the storyline of this. That's not boxing. Boxing is whoever the defending champ is, you fight that person, and then you become the champ, and then people continue to try to defend their title. So this wouldn't make sense to me if he's trying to become like that person or whatever. Like, you either go against whoever the guy is, who is the defending champion right now, that's Fury, and you fight him, and then if you lose to him, goodbye, sir, you know? But like, having all these other fights in between, that's just like, really, that's like you taking a break then and you're not ready to fight, you know? Like, that's not how boxing is. Like, you go at the guy, and if you want a rematch with the guy, you get your rematch, and as the guy who was the defending champ originally, he's automatically guaranteed a rematch. You either do this rematch now, but if he fights somebody else, you shouldn't be then given like, oh, well, I get to fight the winner, and that's not how it works. Whoever's the defending champ takes that and runs that. So, like, don't mess up how boxing works. Like, this is how it's been for the longest time. And I'm not, like, for a little chunk of change, don't try to mess up the system. That's not how boxing works. And I don't like this idea at all. I think it's stupid.
Britt, I love it. Okay. Well, that wraps up Need to Know News, you guys. And now, Jackie, I hear you have an exciting interview to take us into. So I am throwing it to you.
Yes, I am super excited about this one, guys. I mean, we always have great interviews here on the show. But let me just make sure. Are we all set to go? On my end, I think we are. Okay, so if you don't know this man, you need to get to know him because he has a wealth of knowledge, and he's an accomplished Emmy Award-winning sports journalist. You can catch him on Fox Sports 1, Fox Soul, and The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Plus, he has some new things on the horizon as well. So please help me welcome Mike Hill to the show. Hey, Mike, can you hear us? I don't know if they can hear us. Mike. Guess what day it is? Okay, so maybe, should we come back to them when they can actually hear us, maybe? Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, maybe we can get started on post-up, and then whenever Mike's ready, we'll jump right into that. So, Chris,
I just text Mike now and told him you guys were live. So
right, I know. Like, look up, Mike.
I said, can you hear Jackie?
Can you hear me?
He got my text.
I can see y'all. Can y'all? This is like one of those Zoom blooper reels right now that we got going on. Hey. I see y'all. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear.
Yay! You can't hear yet. Okay. Well,
you can't hear them.
At least
is it on mute?
There
we go. There we go.
Oh, hey! How you guys? You missed my beautiful introduction. How you guys doing? Oh. I don't know what happened. Everything's frozen on my end, though.
Okay, Jackie, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, Chris, why don't you tell us your first post-up? Tell us your first post-up, and then we'll jump into Mike.
Okay, perfect. We jump right into post-up with your boy Chris, quarantine edition. We're going to get to the first one, give a little teaser post up, but we're jumping right in to James Harden because we were talking about, you know, all these great players of all time, and I'm not saying James Harden isn't one because of this list, but this list doesn't really help his campaign because this graphic was posted on Twitter yesterday, as you can see right here, and there's a lot of James Harden on this list. This looks like Jackie's all-time list if they were talking about best players of all time, and that would all be LeBron James. If we it would be MJ up top and then the rest LeBron James. But this is not a good list. As you can see, it says most missed threes in a game. Now, he tied the record with himself and only Damon Stoudemire That's 7. So 6 times for himself and Damon Stoudemire the 7. So 7 times has this record been tied. And what's so sad about this is that he did it 4 of those 6 times just last season. He was on track to go for another 4 this year when he had 2 in 2020. So my question is, before we try back with Jackie, I just got to know real quick, Jackie, let me talk to you before you come over, because, I attacked you a little bit. But I'm just curious.
Yes,
now, we talk a lot about, we talk about shooters shoot, right? Shooters shoot. I get you on that. But at the same time, should there be a time when that shooter should stop shooting? Because the win-loss ratio to those games where he shot those 16 shots weren't tremendously great. He did win a few of them, but he didn't win all of them.
Man, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I'm just going to say, keep shooting.
Okay.
Keep shooting.
All right, James Harden.
James Harden, he's breaking all the other records. See, this is the pettiness of the world. Like, ain't nobody talking about all the other records that he's just broke. Like, he's constantly breaking records. You find the one thing where he's kind of lacking at, and now you just want to act. See, y'all.
Hey,
y'all are petty.
Look, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving the message to y'all that we found here on Twitter. All right, that's what I do on Post Up.
I'm gonna shoot you because you shot me earlier, so I'm shooting back. This is your fault, and I need you to do better next time.
Whatever. You want me to continue?
Yeah, Chris.
Oh, we going to the second one? All right. Well, we did. So going back to the top 10 ESPN list, we had some people who were not very happy with the list outside of some of us here on this panel. And we're starting off with Kobe's protege herself, Sabrina Yusenko, who tweeted immediately after this list came up, a lot like we heard from Nick Young and other people that Devin mentioned. She all she said was 9 ? This is funny, LOL. And like we already broke down the top 10 according to ESPN, and you heard what we had to say. But yeah, when I saw this too, it was just one of those things, right? Exactly like Jackie said, I haven't really agreed much with ESPN on a lot of their lists as of late for the last few years. So this is one of those things where I saw the list, I said, okay, and I just kept on going on my merry way on Twitter. I did not have the time to be KD in this situation. I just moved on past it. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Sabrina. I think it was kind of funny to see him at 9. Like they could at least put him at 8,
Maybe the same kid who designed the logo, what Little Timmy, did the list. Maybe Little Timmy did the list.
Look at you thinking ahead, and look at you providing me with the world-class transition, because you're talking about the Rams logo, and I'm going to talk about the Rams new uniforms, because yesterday they debuted their new. Right, you see that's all Jackie out here. She's taking blows and still helping me out. I respect it. But yeah, the Rams yesterday, they posted their new uniforms with this big old video where all the players were all excited about it and they were seeing their jerseys for the first time. Well, then they also decided to try and make a funny little comedy skit with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, with them being so excited about the new jerseys that they're already wearing them around the house doing their everyday quarantine stuff. So before I give my opinion on the video, I'll let the world see the video first, or at least the Fumble chat see the video. So here's that video.
Babe, have you seen my helmet?
Broke his hand for you. Terrible shot. Another terrible shot. Come on, Cup. Wait for the look. What? See?
I don't even like their uniforms, so
that was gonna be. I'm right there with you, Bray. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the uniforms. I definitely do not like that commercial. Look, I'm all for creativity. I love that NFL teams are being more creative with the schedule reveals, with the uniform reveals. I'm cool with that. No. This one was just. How long was that video? 34 seconds. Yeah, this video was 34 seconds too long. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, Britt,
their whole social team / PR / creative team just needs to go. Like, let's start over.
Right. It's not good. It's really not good.
And you're in LA. You have so many creative, amazing people here. I just don't understand.
And that's what's crazy. The Chargers went and revamped their whole social team, their whole everything with them. And you saw it in there because their reveal video was dope. They did a great job with their stuff, and they got new logos and everything too. So I mean, not logos, but like new little emojis and stuff that are like Chargers centric. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. But Rams try harder. And I'm glad, Britt, I was going to ask you too how you feel about the jerseys, and took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, I'm not a fan. You tried.
The shiny letters, I'm not feeling that. Like the material of the letters is really weird. It's like, it reminds me of like arena football jerseys, kind of like it's just too extra. Like I'm also not a fan of like teams with their like neon jerseys, except for the Seahawks. I love when they do their lime green. Ones that can pull it. But other than that, I don't like them. You know, and the Chargers are not a fan. Rams are trying to do some weird stuff, but it just looks cheap to me, honestly.
I love what they try to do with their white or bone jerseys. I like that they're called bone, but they just look like they always dirty. Like it's just an ugly color. It doesn't work. They look like they're dirty before they even put them on. So Rams.
You like the white one better than the blue one?
I don't like any of them. I was saying I don't like that because they look dirty. They're called bone. They're supposed to be representing like a bone color or whatever. I think it's dumb. Yeah, it's not. It's not good. I'm not a fan. They should go
the blue one's okay.
Because they're at least going off of old design. So even then, that's still L. Like they tried to do an old design, and they did that. But you're right. It's bearable, but still, I'm not crazy about the New Jersey. But hey, Rams, go ahead, keep on trying.
Moving on. This work, I love it.
little Timmy working hard, man. Quarantine.
Getting all the work.
If they're gonna change anything, though, I want them to change that logo before they. I'll accept the uniforms, but they just do need to update this logo. Not good.
They did. They did update it. This is the update.
Yeah, that's the update.
It's still bad.
It's still bad, though. That's the problem, Devin. It's still bad.
Right?
Look, select all, control, delete, and start it all over. I don't like it. Not a fan of it. Move on. But somebody I am a fan of, and we all are fans of here on the Fumble Live, is Kavia Wade. Anytime you see her, she is always a mood. And this video, because we see these fruit snack challenges videos going around, and they're pretty funny. They're hit or miss. But look, if you told me that Kavia was doing one of these, how this turned out was exactly how I would imagine it would turn out. So without further ado, here's Kavia attempting the fruit snack challenge.
Ready for a snack? Yeah? Okay. You can have some bitsies, but you gotta wait, okay? Okay, you gotta wait till I get back, all right? Okay. Okay.
Sit over there.
Mom, don't eat any bitsies.
Immediately.
You're not even looking right at her, too.
She literally said, wait, and she's like putting it in her mouth already.
You waited? She's like, while she's eating them.
Did you eat the bitsies? You ate the bitsies?
Nah, you did.
Like, did you eat the bitsies?
Go ahead, have the bitsies.
When she's allowed, she can. Now, I gotta say this. What happened?
Oh.
Who was that? Devin, was that you?
My nephew did this, and he also ate the snacks before he was supposed to. It was really funny and really cute, but also made me feel sad that he's not more well behaved.
No, give me my snacks now. But here's my thing. Okay, I have a little conspiracy with this. Okay, it's nothing crazy, not hating or anything. I feel like this. We talked about Danny Green yesterday and his sponsor with Manscaped. I think that this was 100% a Bitsy ad, because the amount of times Gabby Union had to let us know that she's there eating Bitsies, it seemed like an ad. And in the tweet, she even added Bitsy. So all I'm trying to say is this money. Yeah, it has to be. So this money better be going to Kavia, because she killed it. Like, I don't care if any parent or anything seeing this, I would want to go get, because if she's not following the rules to go and eat them that bad, that must mean that these things are that good where she's out there eating these damn bitsies. So if this is an ad, that money better be going to Kavia, all right?
Funny. That is hilarious.
I loved it. We all expected that when we knew that she was going to be doing that challenge. That's hilarious. Moving on
what the parents need to do, though?
What?
Oh, I was going to say, you know what the parents need to do? See, my mom would have been like, hey, don't touch this. I'm going to whoop your ass if you touch this before I get back. But all these parents are like, don't eat it, baby. I'll be right back, Sugar Plum. You can't do that. The kid doesn't listen to
Sugar
you.
plum. Oh my God. My mom has
Oh,
never
my
called
God.
me sugar plum. She called
Mine
never
did.
have I
That's
been
what my mom
sugar
said
plum.
either.
Never
I will
have
never
I.
say that either. Mm-mm.
I've been like,
Nope.
get your little ass over here.
Right.
Don't eat them. I'm gonna be over there.
With
I'm gonna be
the
watching you. Don't eat them. Right, looking right at them. Moving on to this next one. Now, if that was their attempt at shooting a shot at trying to get a Bitsy sponsorship, Nate Robinson's shot at Meg Thee Stallion wasn't that great. Okay, now look, everybody out here talking about Meg Thee Stallion this past year. Hot Girl Summer, blah blah blah. I get it. Now, she's out here killing it. I have no hate against her. She's doing a great job. But this, if people are claiming that this is Nate Robinson attempting to take a shot at Meg Thee Stallion, I don't see it. But I'm gonna let you guys, get to the bottom of this and let me know. But yes, Meg posted this picture on her Instagram. Speaking of brand deal, she out here getting her Fashion Nova brand deal on. Do your thing, Meg. But in the comment section, we had Nate Robinson, who was really enjoying this picture, saying, "I effing love you," heart eye emoji, LOL, with the shrug. Now, the shrug, I was like, okay, maybe. But is this a shot? Because he's doing it out in the public. I mean, please enlighten me. Is this considered a shot? Like, I don't see it as a shot. And if it is a shot, I think Nate's going to be burned pretty bad. Please enlighten me, Britt.
Nate, you too little for Megan. You cannot handle all that. You come up to Megan's like chest, my guy. Like you're too small for
So
Megan.
You see it as a shot.
Handle all that. You can't handle that stallion. He trying, but she ain't gonna. You ain't getting to ride this horse, okay? Nuh-uh.
So see, now I didn't think it was a shot, but now I think, based on what Britt said about him being too small, this is the best way to take your shot. Take your shot in the comments so she can, smack you on the top of the head with, one of her lady parts. I think this is a shot now. I didn't before.
I put it in context for you, Jackie. I put it in context for you.
Right, you did. Thanks, Britt. I didn't even know.
Devin, you think this is a shot?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a shot. Also, just if you take the same situation and replace Megan with Katya Elise Henry, and then the commenter with literally any NBA player, we would think it was a shot. So yeah, it's the same situation.
Fact. You're right. You're 100% correct. All right, well, Nate, we got some bad news for you here on the Fumble panel. Good attempt, but keep it moving, my guy, and try another time with somebody else, man. Because I'm with Brown on this one. If that was a shot, and I guess it is, I missed. I don't think this is going to be the shot that works out. Anyways, moving on to the last and final news on the post. I can't even call it news, but look, man. Ben Simmons, okay? Ben Simmons loves to be talked about. I'm convinced he loves to be talked about because he, on his IG story, he posted this picture of him with some braids and try to act like he was teasing us, like we cared to see him with braids. He's like, y'all might not ever know what I look like with braids. They're like, who asked? Like, I see you, like you're trying. That's how I read it. When I saw, I'm like, okay, man. Again, just like with the Twitter thing, I just moved back so fast. I'm like, get off my thing. Y'all might not ever. Anyways, but the thing is too, like, you gonna tease people who actually probably did care about this just to lie, because there was a video that went up of you with your braids. So we saw you with the braids on your head. Look at this video by ASAP Ferg, who I guess was with them when it happened, and just like a light skin, he didn't know how to put a do-rag on, so he's out here getting some tips on how to put this do-rag on for the first time. Look at him go.
You don't know how to do this? This is
look
embarrassing.
At him. Look.
Oh, no.
He spent it around like 3 times. There you go. See, okay.
God.
I tie this like this, and like you gotta get some help.
This is what y'all look like when you wear your face mask below your nose. This is what you guys look like, just so you know.
Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? I'm covering my mouth. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but look, it's just Ben.
Embarrassing.
And it was unamusing. Like, good for you, Ben. Whatever, man. We see you, Ben. We saw your braids. Good for you, man. New look, okay? But AI and Kawhi do it better.
AI. Yeah, I was like,
right, exactly.
He's the only one on the Sixers that can rock the braids. You ain't the new version of that. Sorry.
Trying.
Like the State Farm from
the 90s.
Trying to be the new one.
Right.
The new Chris Paul.
Out here trying to be the new Chris Paul. But yeah, that's it for me on the post, though.
All right,
Oh,
Jackie,
goodness.
take us into WTF. Tell us the weird stuff. I like hearing about it.
Okay, well, let me get into it really quick because I didn't know where we was going at that point. So, hold on one second. All right, so we've got a couple of WTF things. First, we got to talk about some of this Vince McMahon situation. Now, you guys know back, I think it was beginning of April, Oliver Luke was trying to file for $28 million because he said he was wrongfully terminated from the XFL. Vince McMahon is now firing back and saying, no, that's not actually true. He was fired because he used COVID-19 as an excuse to not do his job. And instead of working from home, he decided to just flat out, stop working. So Vince McMahon is also being super petty and saying because he didn't use his cell phone, his iPhone, which he receives for work, since he didn't use that just for work, he is firing him for that as well. So I have a question for you, Chris. Do you think that this lawsuit who's going to win this? Is it going to be Vince McMahon or is it going to be Oliver Luck? Oh, and let's not forget, he also hired Anthony, I forget Anthony's last name, but he hired him when Vince wanted him to be dismissed. And Vince wanted him to be dismissed because he had been found to have violated the NFL drug policy. But Oliver said, so what? He hasn't violated the XFL policy, so I'm going to hire him anyway. Who do you think is going to end up winning this one?
Man, do you go with the power that is Vince McMahon? Like, because Vince McMahon got some people in his corner. But I feel like, to me, in my eyes, I feel like Oliver Luck. I don't think he really abandoned dude. He did everything he was supposed to do. Like you said, he followed everything to the T with the XFL rules. So I don't know, but I just feel like the power that is Vince McMahon. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to side with him. He's been around for a long time for a reason. I think in something like this, Oliver Luck might end up getting taken out with that. I don't know. That's a good question. You think Oliver Luck's gonna really win over Vince McMahon in a situation like this?
I think so because his things are petty.
Vince
you can't just say my iPhone. That's true. I got nothing else on that one. You might be right. I ain't got nothing else. All right. So it looks like our interview. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the interview is ready to go. So let's put a pause on WTF, and can you bring us into it?
I can. I'm going to just let you guys know again, if you don't know who this person is, you need to get to know him. Like I said before, he's an Emmy award-winning sports journalist. You can catch him on Fox Sports 1, Fox Soul, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and he's got some new things on the horizon. Plus, his beautiful wife is with us as well. So please help me welcome Mike Hill to the show. Beautiful fiance. Sorry.
Yes.
How you guys doing? Can you hear me now? Yay.
I'm so sorry. Yes, we got some interviews kind of mixed up, but happy to be with you guys. Okay. How y'all doing?
Good. We saw you had a typical fiance to the rescue moment. Now we saw her trying to help you get it together. I was like, oh, that's typical. That's how women we have to do for y'all. We have to do that for y'all.
Always got my back. I wouldn't be the person I am today without her. So I'm grateful for her. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. I was telling everybody before. You too. I was telling everybody that I was kind of late to the game with you because I know you started your career as a sports director in '95, but I got to know you when you were doing the pro day for Cam Newton in 2011. So, which was my favorite because he's one of my favorites. So I just was wondering, who is your favorite athlete to cover thus far?
Who has been my favorite athlete that I've ever covered? Oh my gosh. That's kind of hard to say. Like I kind of go with the people that I like, and believe it or not, like a guy like Jamal Crawford, who is just one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, has been one of the guys that's still my friend to this day. I've talked to all of them. I talked to Magic. I met Magic standing next to a urinal one time. First time I met Magic. I met Mike when he recognized me, and that kind of freaked me the hell out, made me realize I kind of made it. I don't really have a necessary like what they do on and off the basketball court field. So a guy like LeBron James, who stands for his platform for things outside of the game of basketball, having a school in Akron, and also speaking up for civil rights and things like that, and police and justice. Those are the type of players that I really admire and adore, and the people that I like giving coverage to, I'll say it that way.
Now, you said you met Magic standing by. I thought men don't talk when y'all are at the urinal. Y'all have
You know what's
talk?
crazy? I'm gonna give you the story, Ray. So I'm there first. I'm at ESPN.
Okay.
I'm there minding my business by myself at my urinal, and then all of a sudden, you know, out the corner of your eye, you see this big tall dude coming standing next to you, and he looks down. And he ain't looked down, but he looked over. Let me just get that right. He looked over and he said, "What's up?" And I'm like, "What's up, Magic?" You know what I'm saying? So that was first chance or first time encounter meeting Magic Johnson. And, you know, it's, you know, I washed my hands before I shook his hand or whatever and stuff like that. But that's when he was working at ESPN. And we've been pretty cool ever since. So he's just a great guy.
That's dope. Okay, so we also been talking about this rumor that the Seahawks might pick up Cam Newton. And Chris yesterday pointed out the Seahawks also said the same thing about Kaepernick, and that ended up amounting to anything. Do you think that this is a similar situation, or there might be some truth behind these rumors?
No, I mean, why wouldn't there be truth behind the rumors? I mean, Cam Newton, the quarterback, it's almost a shame, almost embarrassing that a guy like Cam Newton, who was just the MVP of the league 5 years ago, and had suffered a couple of injuries, whatever, but still is a dominant quarterback when he's healthy. He can't get an opportunity with a football team right now. I mean, I don't know what the market is for Cam, but when you see a guy like Jameis Winston signing a one-year deal for the amount of money he signed with New Orleans Saints, actually works out for him because he gets learned behind Drew Brees. You know, that kind of makes you wonder. Then you see a guy like Andy Dalton signing for what he signed for in Dallas, right, when they don't want to give Dak Prescott the money that he deserves as a starting quarterback. It kind of gets you scratching your head a little bit. So to me, it's, you know, we understand that the NFL, we understand that even being a quarterback is all about politics in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of it goes into the politics of who Cam Newton is, what he stands for, and the type of personality he is and whatnot. So whoever gets Cam Newton is going to get an outstanding quarterback who's going to be highly motivated. And if he gets the opportunity to get on the football field, he's going to show you that he was worth the signing. So hopefully he gets an opportunity here soon. I would love to see him in Seattle with Russell Wilson. I don't want to see anything happen with Russell Wilson, but I would love to see Cam Newton back on the football field and being able to display what I know he still has left in his tank.
All right, so speaking of quarterbacks, I'm going to see if you can help me settle a dispute that we have here on the Fumble, because my co-hosts think I'm 100% wrong about this. But Baker Mayfield, we know he had a good rookie season. His sophomore season was trash. Now he's in his third year. His contract doesn't expire to 2023. Do you think Cleveland should be looking to move on from him now, or really just wait until after this next season to decide what they should do with him?
It's too early. I mean, nobody knows. Like, the thing is, like, I don't like throwing away a quarterback this soon. Like you said, his rookie season, he kind of shined after, you know, he got his head coach fired, Hugh Jackson fired. Then he all of a sudden shines under a new offense and whatnot. He has like a 5 or 6 game span. And then last year, with a lot of expectations, with the weapons and whatnot, he disappointed. So there's going to be some highs and lows for a quarterback early on in their career. Peyton Manning threw a lot of interceptions early on in his career. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's rare that you get somebody like a Tom Brady who gets an opportunity to jump right in the fray, and then they just shine for all their entire career. So there's going to be ups and downs, especially early on for a young quarterback. So when it comes to a guy like Baker Mayfield, I think the jury is still out. So I'm not going to throw him away, but at the same time, I'm not ready to go ahead and sign him to a long-term contract to be my franchise quarterback. I think this year is definitely going to be pivotal. If he doesn't step up this year, then, you know, like you said, I think maybe it's time for you to kind of look at the future and see what else is out there, if something else is out there that's available that's more intriguing.
Okay. I'm going to say that's kind of a yes for both me and the panel. I'm not going to just give them a win on that one.
I want to throw it.
Yeah. So, you know, both Britt and I had an opportunity to be on your Mike and Donnie show on Fox Soul. And when I was there, you kind of shared with me that I asked you what college you went to. You said you went to the Air Force, which is obviously not the conventional route, especially when you're talking about journalism. What made that the right move for you to make?
Because I wasn't ready for college at the time. I would have been like in my neighborhood where I grew up, and you'll see it in my book Open Mic that it just came out, the pre-sales release today. I wasn't for to go to 4-year colleges. First of all, we couldn't really afford it. My grades in high school were good, but I wasn't going to be scholarship good or whatnot. I wasn't athletically gifted enough to get an athletic scholarship, and I knew I was going to be just like a lot of people in my neighborhood, where I would go for a year, mess around, not go to class, try and pledge a frat, and then come back home and sit on the corner. That was good. So even though I didn't have a lot of male role models growing up, I did have 2 cousins who went into the military and they did well for themselves. So I said, you know what, let me enlist in the military, let me enlist in the Air Force. And then that will give me the discipline I basically needed at that time in my life to pursue the things that I wanted to pursue, which was being in communications. Now, I wasn't the same route that I thought I was going to take. I got into communications, but it was totally outside of radio and television. I actually got a top secret clearance. I worked for the National Security Agency. I still, Ray, don't know how the hell I got a top secret clearance. They obviously
That's amazing.
My damn family. But, you know, this was before it was a little bit more security here in this nation. This was before 9/11 or whatever. I still don't know how I got it, but I got it. And it was, I think, probably the 6 years of my life that I needed the most to give me that foundation to be the man and the person I am today. But like I said in the book, I still wasn't a man. There was a lot of things that I had to grow and learn from because a lot of traumas that happened to me before the military, while I was in the military, and even after the military, that kind of stopped me and stifled me from growing as a person and as a professional.
Right. Okay. So now, like I said, you got the Mike and Donnie show. You got your sports reporting. You make appearances on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I see you on the gram maintaining your fitness, inspiring me. Thank you for that. You've got all these things that you're doing. So when did you have time? Like you said, you have this book, Open Mic, pre-sale start for that today. When did you make time to write this book?
I had to find time. I started writing this book back in 2014. Somebody told me that, you know, because of everything that I've kind of gone through and I shared some parts of my life, not just my professional life, but my personal life. When I was talking about domestic violence, you know, my mom seeing that, my first memory in my life is seeing my mom getting her butt whipped. That's still painful to this day, and screaming my name. My best friend being killed in the drive-by shooting. My father wasn't there in my life. My stepfather found out he was, you know, alcoholic and he was an abuser, and then spent the last 9 years of his life in jail for murder for hire because, you know, found out he was a hitman. And then just the things that I went through, tumultuous, you know, marriages, my career and all that type of stuff. I started writing the book because people say, you know what, you should get this out there. But then at the time I was like, who am I? I'm not a celebrity. I was on ESPN at the time, or just starting at Fox. I'm like, I'm not big enough. I'm not big enough to write a book. But then in 2017, something said, you got to write this book, because I had all this stuff that was on the inside that I had to let out. On the outside, I was living this facade. I was happy. I was carefree. My career was going well. It seemed like I was making money and all that type of stuff. And I put on this facade like everything was great. But right on the inside, I was dying. If I didn't write this at that particular time, I probably would have died. I would have stressed out. I could have stroked out. And I would not be the man that I am today. For the first 46 years of my life, I was a male. But until I started writing this book and releasing a lot of the traumas that was going on in life, it didn't allow a man. And so, you know, I'm still going through it. And that's one of the reasons I put it out, because I want to promote and stress the importance of mental health, especially in our community, in the Black community, because you know how it is being a Black man. Sometimes if you seek help from certain people or certain professions, people look at you as weak. And I'm telling you that it's weak if you don't. You're strong if you do admit that you can go get the help that you need.
Yeah, I hate the stigma that mental health has in the Black community. So I definitely appreciate you taking time to share this with all of us. Did it start as a journal, or did you go into it knowing it was going to be a book, or were you just kind of journaling everything that was going on in your life?
I just needed to write it down. Like somebody told, like I said, somebody write it, but I had no intentions on selling it. I just wanted to write it. I just had to. And like I said, I put it down from 2014 to 2017. Didn't even think about it that much. And then in 2017, when I was on the road with the Clippers, I just felt like a heaviness that I needed to let off my chest. And I was thinking about all these things, these memories that I had when I was a youngster and growing up, and why I couldn't fall in love, and you know, why I hurt so many people, why people hurt me. And then I just started writing. And once I started writing, it felt like, I felt like I was throwing up. I felt like a tape. And once I started doing that, I became lighter, and I just couldn't stop. So once I started writing again in 2017, I could not stop writing until it was complete. And one of the reasons you see on the book, Open Mic, the reason I put, you know, my body out there, because I wanted to be transparent. I wanted to prove people like, this is the naked truth, nothing to hide. You can look at it. Everything that's on this book cover has a symbol for me, because you see me coming out of the shadows. That's my past. That's my trauma, and I'm coming into the light. And the reason why my head is bowed is because I'm partly embarrassed. I'm ashamed of some of the things that I not only did to myself, but to other people, and how I hurt other people, including my ex-wives, and caused me my marriages and whatnot. And then you see on the back of the book, you see it lighter. You see my head up. I'm a little bit because I got the help I needed. But now I'm covered by a woman who has my back and is always talking in my ear to help me get through a lot of the processes in my life. So I'm really proud that I got through this book. I hope people will buy it and read it, and hopefully it will inspire other people to get the help that they need.
Now, I saw that on social media, a lot of people had kind of given you flashback about the book cover because they said it was too sexy. But you explaining it right now, it makes perfect sense. Were you surprised that you got flashback about the cover?
No, I knew I was going to get flack. I knew that was going to happen. And the thing is, I didn't put it out there to try and show off. Look, I'll be 50 this year. You know, am I proud of my body and the strides that I made?
Go ahead, Black don't crack.
Yeah, you know, so that's cool. But the thing is, am I proud of that? Yeah, I'm proud of that. But at the same time, if you look at the cover, I'm not like ripped up. I'm not shredded. Everything has a symbol to it. And I just explained all the symbols. But here's the thing. My body has come a long way, meaning my therapy and everything, my mental health has come a long way as well. But I'm far from perfect, and I still have a long way to go, and I'm still working on it. So I didn't want to come out there with a 6-pack. Yeah, at one time I had a 4 or 5-pack. I had worked on it, but I didn't want to show all that type of stuff. I didn't want to show me all ripped up. I wanted to show that, yes, I've lost weight. I've come this far. I've gained some muscle, but I'm not perfect yet. And I'm still far from perfect. So that even though I've gotten the help that I needed and I've gone to therapy, that was part of my therapy, the therapy continues. And you have to continue to make sure that you refurbish yourself and continue to reinvent yourself so that you don't have those demons from the past coming back to haunt you again. So that's one of the big reasons. Yeah, so I knew the flack was going to come, but let it come. If people are talking about it, then I've kind of done my job. And hopefully people understand the meaning behind why I did it.
Okay, well, thank you. I can't wait to get the books, and I'm so excited that you joined us. I have one more question before we go. Mike, I am counting on you. Don't let me down, okay?
Okay.
Who is the best basketball player in the world?
Have you seen The Last Dance?
Look, Mike, I specifically said don't let me down.
Look, you want me to tell you what you want to hear, what you need to hear. See, that's one of the things. You want me to be open mic, or you want me to tell you, you want me to be...
I want the open mic.
I can tell you that LeBron is the most talented basketball player I've ever seen in my lifetime, talent-wise. The greatest basketball player of all time, though, is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Sorry to disappoint you. I'm just keeping it real. This man has... If you look at the highlights from Jordan from 20 years ago, you can't tell me that he wouldn't average 40 points a game in this league today without the hand checking, without the defenses that are being played that he had to face with the Detroit Pistons and the Knicks years ago. This guy's phenomenal in his will. Did you hear what he had to say when he got emotional? The most important part of Lance was what you saw last week when he was talking about how he pushed his team and how he pushed himself to perfection. And if you didn't want to be a part of that, then you ain't got to be. But he got teary-eyed thinking about that. That is what makes this man so significant and so much different than the other guys that are out there. No disrespect to LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, Magic, all the rest of them, Bird, whoever you want to name. But when you ask me who the greatest player of all time is Michael Jordan. And this is coming from a Knicks fan, and that man cost me championships. He cost me chips, and I hated him when he played. But at the same time, I got to respect greatness, and greatness is in the form of Michael Jordan when it's on the basketball court.
All right, I'm still going to take half the win because you said LeBron in your lifetime, so I'm still taking half the win on that one.
Well, whatever I can do for you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything else you want to share before we go?
Now, once again, the pre-sales for Open Mic begin today, so make sure you check it out. Amazon, Barnes & Noble's website, or anywhere books are sold, and continue to support Fox Soul as well, because the Mike and Donnie show, we're keeping it going, and can't wait to have you and Britt come back on the show again with us. You guys were phenomenal.
Yes,
you guys were two of our best guests we've had.
Thank you. We can't wait to come back on.
Okay, anytime. Right. You got an open invitation. All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, once again, thank you to Mike Hill for stopping by, and you guys make sure you go follow him on Instagram at Mike Hill. And don't forget, pre-sales start today, so check that out. Devin?
Jackie, thank you so much. That was a great interview. Loved hearing all about Mike Hill and his new book. And now, you guys, we are throwing it to Brit's Takes, rounding out the show. So, Chris, are your vocals ready? Because we need that happening right now.
Yes. Yep. Brit's Takes.
Chris is slow on the trigger. Like, we got to get that trigger finger better, Chris.
I'm saying it as soon as I hear it.
Hey, Chris, shut up, because I only got 5 minutes. All right. So Brit's Takes, you guys talked a little bit about it earlier today in the show with ESPN releasing their top 74 players in order to celebrate 74 years of the NBA. MJ was listed as number 1, of course, LeBron at number 2. But what I'm really here to talk about today is another guy who you guys talked about earlier, because Kobe Bryant was actually ranked at number 9, and a lot of people were pissed off about it. And I'm here to tell you that I agree kind of with the number 9 spot. And I will tell you why, because, you know, I like to spit facts here. So I'm gonna give you guys some facts, because I know Chris had mentioned some accolades or whatever, and Kobe's accolades were better than other people's. That's not a true statement, because I'm here to tell you the facts, okay? So, and I know Kobe Bryant's not the only one that people had issues with. I mean, Ray Allen was ranked at 56. He shouldn't have been. I think Chris Paul was ranked too low. But we're talking about Kobe here. Even Dwight Howard was left off the list, which is crazy. But this guy, Kobe Bryant, I'm going to start with his accolades were really quickly, and then I'm going to explain why I believe that Kobe Bryant is sitting pretty nicely at number 9. So Kobe averaged 25 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists. He had 1 NBA MVP and 5 NBA championships. Great career. Loved it. I have nothing wrong with Kobe Bryant. I think he was a great player. Obviously, he came off of Michael Jordan and stuff like that, and their bond together was amazing. It's a great story, right? But there's a guy named Chris Webber who is completely left off the list, right? But just to compare, Chris Webber played 15 seasons in the league. He had averaged 20.7 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 4.2 assists. He was a 5-time All-Star. His number 4 is retired by the Kings. His numbers aren't that off from Kobe Bryant's, especially since I'm putting them together because they both played long careers, and Kobe's at number 9 and Chris Webber's at not on the list. So the difference here, obviously, we can see is Chris Webber never won any rings, and he was never an NBA MVP. Kobe was only an NBA MVP one time. Obviously, that is highly debatable because Steve Nash won 2 during that time, and there's a lot of conspiracies around why Kobe didn't win more. I understand that. But let's go to the people that are the 3 through 8, because I'm not arguing LeBron James, and I'm not arguing Michael Jordan. But some people had him. I think Jackie mentioned he could have been as high as probably number 3. Well, I'll tell you why that's not really a good thing to say, because number 3 on the list was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem had averaged 24.6 points, 11.2 rebounds, plus he's a 6-time NBA MVP, a 19-time All-Star, which is a league record, and then he won 6 championships. So let's put Kobe behind that. Number 4, Bill Russell. All you got to say with Bill Russell is 11 NBA championships in 13 seasons. Unheard of. And he led the league at the time with 22.5 rebounds in his career, 22.5 rebounds for his career average, which means some games he had way more than that. That is insane. So, okay, let's move Kobe down the list again. Number 5. Right now at number 5 is Showtime, baby. Magic Johnson, who had more assists and rebounds than Kobe Bryant did in his career. Fewer points, but still great. He was... Honestly, I think you could put him as the best passer ever to play in the NBA. He won 5 titles. He played even in more. I think he played in 9 championships. He was a 12-time All-Star and a 3-time NBA MVP. So let's put him down the list again. Kobe Bryant against Wilt Chamberlain. 30 points and 22.9 rebounds. Plus he had... Kobe wants to have the 81-point game. Wilt Chamberlain had a 100-point game. And guess what? That was before 3's existed. So he made 50 shots. 2 points, guys. Come on now. Kobe has to go below that, right? So then next we have Larry Bird. Actually, point-wise is pretty comparison with Kobe Bryant. Kobe averaged 25 points. Larry Bird averaged 24.3 points, 10 rebounds, though, and 6.3 assists. He's a 3-time NBA champion and a 3-time NBA MVP. So Kobe has to go under that, just based on all the stats and the accolades alone, because that is what Chris said, the accolades. Put him down again. Next, the only person that I think actually Kobe probably could have beat up was Tim Duncan, which is number 8 spot. Tim Duncan averaged 19 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists. He's a 5-time NBA champion and 2-time NBA MVP. That is the only person, accolade-wise, stats-wise, that should be put over or put up one more is Kobe Bryant, maybe at 8. Other than that, the top 7 guys before that are where they're supposed to be. We are in a time right now, obviously, the time of the situation when Kobe just passed in January. Yes, people are just now we're re-looking at Kobe stuff and we're thinking, oh, he did this so great. And he was great. He changed the game again after Michael Jordan did it the first time. But he isn't one of the greatest players when you're looking at the list. I think 8 is a perfect spot for him. 1 up maybe, but like look at what the other guys did. We're just thinking because most of us are looking at the last 3 decades, and that's MJ, that's Kobe, that's LeBron. But so we're talking about 74 years of celebration for basketball right now. So there were a lot of great people before that. And I just listed exactly why these guys are deserving of their spots. Yes, none of us saw them. Yes, there's not a lot of footage on them because there weren't cameras just walking around like they are now. Like, we are missing a whole chunk of people. I don't think ESPN got this wrong. And I don't think they were young interns. I actually think they were old ones, because all the guys that were picked before Kobe are guys that didn't happen in our era, in our time frame. They're guys that we all know their names. We all know who Bill Russell is. We all know who Wilt Chamberlain is. We all know these guys. And their stats still to this day are compared to some of these players. So, like, I'm not taking away anything from Kobe Bryant, but I don't think you should take anything away from everything and all the players that happened before him. Chris, I'm going to go to you. Why do you, after hearing everything I said, you still have Kobe Bryant above guys like Wilt Chamberlain and Magic Johnson and Kareem and Bill Russell and all of those guys still?
Great arguments. No, that was great. I still move them up, but I wouldn't say 3. I know that's probably as far as like favoritism because of the LeBron, Michael, and Kobe argument. It's so hard for me to put them anywhere past at least 5. Now, everything you said was completely correct as far as facts and accolades. So you got me on that. I'll give you that. But at the same time, this is why I hate the GOAT conversation, because if you're comparing those players to each other, we have to remember the eras and who they're playing. Wilt Chamberlain, I will never take anything from Wilt. His stats speak for themselves. But we also have to remember, you said it, there was no video back in the day, but I'm sure Wilt, God rest his soul, is happy there was no video back in the day, because Wilt looked like if Joel Embiid was out there playing with a bunch of kindergartners. Now, Wilt Chamberlain was a man amongst boys at that time, and he was really outmatched with a lot of the guys and a lot of competition he was playing against. So for him to average those stats, of course it was expected, and it was something to see. So it's hard for me to put him in that same category. Is he top 10? Of course. But at the same time, era compared to era, I feel like Kobe went and played through more than Wilt Chamberlain did for the stats that Wilt Chamberlain had. Now, that's why it's hard for him. And then
really quick on Wilt, though. He also played in an era where he was one of the very few black guys, and he had to deal with a lot of stuff
100%
that Kobe Bryant didn't have to deal with. So I don't want to go tit for tat on that kind of stuff, because how he had to deal, and how we all heard the stories of Jackie Robinson and people pushing him down and nobody wanting to shower. Like, Will had to deal with a lot of that kind of stuff too. And the discrimination he had to deal with playing basketball was out of this world. And that's something mentally that could have messed with his head and messed with a lot of other players' heads at that time. And what Will did and was able to do with all that negative energy towards him is amazing, because people cheer for Kobe Bryant in the stands. People weren't cheering for Wilt Chamberlain like that.
But also with these with any athlete, you know that also fuels them. Like the same Jackie Robinson you named, and I'm sure like Wilt Chamberlain and even Bill Russell was another person with a name. That is the reason why they were probably as great as they were, because of the boost. So I'm not taking away from that. All I'm saying is era to era, competition to competition, basketball to basketball. Kobe faced more than I believe Wilt Chamberlain did. And I feel like, yes, top 10, but you got to put Kobe in at least 5. I think the Larry Bird, the Magic Johnson, those two, I will hear all the arguments and I'll say, okay, fine. You want to put them 3, 4, cool. Kobe sits at 5, but it's so hard. And sorry, Kareem before them too. But for me to, I think he edges. No, he edges. I was going to say, I think he edges Larry Bird at the very least. I think he's in a battle with his fellow Lakers in guys like Magic and Kareem. I'll take those arguments. But again, we have to remember who had more chips between Magic and Kobe. That's a conversation I feel like would put him a little bit over Magic. But you're right. Magic is one of the, if not the greatest point guard of all time. But all due respect for everything they did, the Pioneers and what they were for the league today, I still believe that he is, because of competition, because what he played against, I have him getting the edge over guys like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. And I feel like with career side, I think he does take over Larry Bird. And I think he has the little edge over Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson said it himself. Kobe, in his mind, is the best Laker. He thinks Kobe was a better Laker than himself. And I feel like he's conceding to that. We should be conceding to that as well. And I feel like you said, the stats say that and the accolades say that with Magic Johnson at least. So, yes, I don't know if I can jump as far as 3.
Titles. They both have 5 titles, and Magic has more MVPs than Kobe does, and Magic has better stats than Kobe does.
MVP or the MVP
Yeah,
thing.
MVP
I know, but I'm
can't.
just saying, like, I
he
don't
does,
wanna
and you're
say
right.
ESPN did it so much of a horrible justice to put him at 9, because a lot of these guys are debatable, and I don't think everybody as pissed off as they were about Kobe at 9. I don't think that's too much of a thing to be pissed off about. I mean, you're in great company regardless, but I think people are more pissed off now just because Bryant just passed away.
Of the news, right?
For a while, Kobe did come out of a lot of people's top 5 lists when they were just naming him, and he kind of came back in once he passed away. You know, rightfully so. People just start thinking of stuff and what the person meant to them, and that plays a huge role in how you rate them as a player. You know, but I don't want to say that ESPN was completely off the Richters for not. I think there was a lot of guys they missed out on, obviously, like with their 74, but some of them are players that I probably really like, you know, or I watch Chris Webber. I'm like, how's Chris Webber not make the list? You know,
right.
To me, he was a great player, but then you're looking, maybe they're thinking about rings and whatever. So based on that kind of stuff, I think they got the list right, you know. And then you were talking earlier about James Harden. Kobe Bryant actually has the record by thousands of the most missed points ever made in NBA history. He beats thousands, you know? So it's and it's so funny because when Jackie said that, I had just wrote that in the chat that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take and stuff, and it's give and take with all of these players, but I just think people shouldn't be pissed off that he's ranked 9. I think he's in great company. I think all of these players are amazing. I think it's just we're a little the time sensitivity of it has made people as more pissed off. But the guys above him are not jokesters. They were big time guys in the NBA. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So before we wrap up the show, Jackie, is there anything that you want to add about this debate, Kobe's number 9 placement on the list of the top 10?
No, I mean, I agree with what Britt's saying, but I'm still putting him at number 5 at least. I mean, he goes above Magic for me, and I get the MVPs things, but he definitely goes above Magic for me just because he brought, even though that was Showtime, Kobe took it to another level, and Kobe had just fans. It was just a different time for him. And I agree with Chris, if Magic's going to say it, then who am I to refute it? So I'm just going to at least put him at the number 5 spot. But, like Britt said, if he'd have been out of the top 10, maybe we could raise a little bit more hell, but at least he's in the top 10.
Right. Oh, for sure.
So, So, in theory, we probably are just in our feelings, but there are feelings and we are in them. So I'm still saying top 5.
I like a number 5 placement for Kobe. I think that's fitting. But you guys in the chat and in the comments, if you have an opinion about this, if you think he should be ranked at a different number, let us know. If you agree with his number 9 ranking, go ahead and give us the purple and yellow hearts in the comments and in the chat. But for now, that wraps up our show, you guys. So make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another live show from your favorite Fumble Squad, you guys. And then wash those damn hands, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Bye.